So in this week's Blueprint series, we are talking about the balance equation. And tonight, fasting, the check-in, is powered by this concept of balance. Because the adaptation zone, which is what we're in, the point between 24 and 56 hours of fasting is where your body is learning balance. This is where overwhelm decreases, stability increases, hunger shifts, energy levels are smoothing out, and your metabolism is saying, hey, I got you. I understand the assignment. So as we go through the show tonight, we're bridging the balance blueprint with the strength of the fast. And we're talking about how the body right now is adapting to all that we're doing. Hey, if you're new to me, I'm Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life, avoid complications, go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. And I am here because I want to help you to have the success in your health, just like you're having success in all the other areas of your life. I want you to show up for those things that are so important to you, those events, the family, the friends, the community, and I want you to be able to enjoy the dreams that you've been pouring into. You don't need superhuman strength. What you need is a strategy you can trust. You need a plan you can follow, and you need the determination and the support to keep showing up every single time. So if you're out there, hey, welcome, whatever platform you're joining us from, and whatever area, whatever space you are joining us from, thank you for coming through. And a special shout out to our accelerator members who are out there. Thank you for coming through and hanging out with us. We've got some interesting things that we're going to look at. I've got my monitors off are new because I want to give you a hand clap and give you some music. And let you know that I am excited that you are here in this space. So come on through and hang out with us. If you are fasting with me this week, go ahead and put yes in the comments. Just drop that into the comments, and we want to make sure that we're giving you a shout out. And then a special shout out to those of you who are who ended your fast today, right? You ended your fast today at 48 hours. You may have done 24 hours. And for those of you who are starting the fast going into the rest of this week. So thank you for coming through, and thank you for hanging out with us. You have made a decision. You have made a choice that you are going to be healthy, and you are joining us as we walk through this fasting space together. All right, so let's go ahead and let's do a couple of things. I want to, first of all, do a check-in. As you know, whenever we talk about fasting, there are three areas that I want you to always be mindful of. That's how you're doing physically, mentally, and emotionally. And these are the spaces where people tend to have their biggest issues. And so it is a good place for us to be so that we can make sure that you are getting the benefit that you are expecting and the benefit that you should get from this. So one of the things that I want to get you to understand, anytime you are making a change, anytime you are making metabolic changes or changes in other areas of your life, you want to have a metric of evaluating that. Okay, how is it doing? And in this case, these three areas that we're talking about, they are actually 3 of the 8 domains of health that we've talked about. So if you've not done that yet, that's a series that you want to make sure you go through and watch, because this ultimately is the wheel, if you will, that takes us through our lives. Here we're using these particular 3 because they help us to evaluate what's happening in our bodies. So how am I feeling physically? How am I doing mentally? And then how am I doing emotionally? So physically, this is where people tend to talk about the energy levels that they are feeling while they're fasting. So how am I doing with the fast? How am I doing in that space? This is important because the the fast itself has a way of changing our energy levels. Because remember, as we're transitioning from one energy source to the next, you can feel that as a shift in energy. And if you're not careful, if you're not aware, then that can feel as though there's something wrong in the fast. Right now, in terms of energy, I am actually feeling pretty good. And we've talked over the last several days and into earlier last week where I was not feeling well. I was having a cold, and so we're on this end or the other end of that right now. So actually feeling pretty good. And then how am I doing mentally, right? So physically, mentally, and as you are going through a fast, your physical energy will translate into how you are thinking. And you know this by history probably. When you are not rested, when you are tired, then your thought process can sometimes feel as though you're slow, as sluggish, as though you're walking through fog. You're foggy-headed or fuzzy-headed, and you're not clicking properly. I am not feeling any of that right now because I am well rested and feeling pretty clear. And then how am I doing emotionally? And emotionally, this has been an exciting week. A lot of things happening in the family, in the practice, here on the show, in our community. And so I've been so excited about what's been happening there. And so feeling pretty good. Okay? So that's how we're doing in terms of our check-in. And I want you to get into the habit of doing this continually because this will help you. This will help you as you are evaluating the different areas that can affect your blood sugar and affect your body as you're moving through the fast. Okay? All right. And so now let's go ahead and we're going to hop over and we're going to take a look at what's going on based on my blood sugars. And this is my continuous monitor. And this first one that you're seeing here is this is my Libre. And you see right there that my Libre says that my blood sugar right now is 63. And if I scroll down to the bottom here or near the middle, you'll see this graph. And the white part of the graph is blood sugar. Those are blood sugars that are above 70. And the red part, those are blood sugars that are below 70. And so you'll see most of the day that my blood sugars have been kind of straddling that 70 mark, some above and some below, right now at 63. If I look at one of the other reports, and I love these reports because they give me a breakdown, different things that I'm looking at. Right now, this one is giving me my time in range, and we're looking at these numbers right here. 83% in target with 16% low and then 1% very low. And these low ones that you're seeing there, those tend to happen when I'm fasting, just like right now. Let's go back there really quickly. You'll see I'm 63. So that will show up as one of those percentages, right? Going back to this time in range, I'm going to go to the 90-day version because the 90-day is where we get, of course, our A1C. A1C is a good over 90 days, and you'll see there that I'm in target 85% of the time, or in range 85% of the time, with 14% lows and then 1% very low. Getting out of this report and then going to the average blood sugar, and you'll see this line right there, 89 is what my average is over the last 7 days. And once again, if I jump to 90 days, once again, that's because the A1C is there. You'll see my average is 90, and then breaking it down according to the different times of the day, then I get to make choices. And the reason I like this one is I get to make choices about what happens through the day because I can see those numbers, and I get to behave in different ways, right? Depending on what I'm eating and so forth. And then now let's hop over and let's take a look at my Dexcom. And this is a G7. And right now you see it says that my blood sugar is 80. And if I go, now I didn't do that on the Libre, but what I'm going to do right here is actually put my finger on this graph and just kind of trace through what blood sugars have been over the course of the day. And you see we've been in 80s, 90s, 80s, 90s, 80s, 90s. And then right about here, you'll see that 10, 102, 103, 104. That's what I call the toothpaste effect right down there. Okay, so we get up to about 106, 109 actually, and then begin coming back down into the 90s. Looking at this graph, 90s, 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 and then down to where we are right now in the 80s. And then looking at my summary, so this is my average blood sugar, 113, and as you know, the Dexcom tends to be a little higher than the Libre. So 113 is the average blood sugar with a glucose management indicator of 6.0. I'm in target or in range 98% of the time. That's for 14 days. And then if I go over and I do the 90-day version, 114, glucose management indicator of 6.0, and I'm in range 98% of the time. So basically the same thing. And I love those graphs because they allow me to track. And anytime I am working to change something, it is important that I have some objective data. And this gives me objective data. We'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. But let's go ahead and we're going to jump over and take a look at my monitors. So as I said, I have a Keto Mojo and I have a Contour. And let me go into my container here, and we're going to get a strip for the Contour. Get one of those out. We can actually go ahead and put that in right there. And then I need a brown for a Keto Mojo, that's glucose. And then I need a blue. Those are the ketones for Keto Mojo. And then I just need a lancet. Okay. Get these put up. And I'm going to open up. Let's do it from this side. And this, well, didn't quite do a good job there, but that's okay. This is the brown one. So this is the Keto Mojo for the glucose. And we're going to get that in. And at the same time, I'm going to open this one up and just have it off to the side so that it's ready to go. Okay. And just grab a finger. I've been picking on this one, so let's go ahead and do that again. So go ahead and get that in. All right. And let's see. Yeah, good. A pretty good drop. Get that started. A drop for the Contour. All right, and so you see there that the Keto Mojo says I'm 75. The Contour says 74, so pretty close to each other. And let me put this back on the screen. And the Libre, sorry, the Dexcom right now says I'm 82. So 74, 75, 82. And then let's take a look at the Libre. And so Libre is saying 62. So right now the Libre is kind of the odd man out, right? All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get this off the screen. And we're going to change to the ketone strip. And then I need to get that drop on there really quickly before it dries. And I can already feel it drying. All right, so let's do that. And go ahead and get that started. So if you're there, go ahead and drop into the comments, what do you think the ketones are going to be? All right. So 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And ketones are 0.8. Look at that, 0.8. So as you know, and while we do that, let me go ahead and I'm going to go over to my Keto Mojo app, get that up, and let's see if we can get that pulled over. So ketones that are less than 0.5 considered normal, 0.5 to 1.5 considered nutritional ketosis, and then above that considered therapeutic ketosis. And so right now we're 0.8, so we're going to try to pull that into our app. And so when we're fasting, you're in a ketogenic diet, you're in a fasting mimicking diet, you want those ketones to be between 0.5 and 1.5. And so that pulled over. And let's take a look at this view. And we're looking at these numbers right here, that big number in the circle, 5.2. That's my glucose ketone index. It's a ratio of glucose to ketones. And then down below, you'll see right there, my glucose was 75 and ketones are 0.8. If you come back tomorrow, as we do our complete review of fasting, we'll walk through that a little bit more, so that you get a better idea of what's happening with those ketones. And so I love that, because when I see the blood sugars that are relatively low and I see ketones, that means that my body is having to generate those ketones from somewhere, and those are coming from burning fat cells. Right? So that's the important point that we make there. All right, so let's go ahead and let's get into our discussion. But before we do that, let's go ahead and we're going to listen to our MOVE campaign. One of the things that I'm excited about is that this space allows you to come and plug in to the various components, right? The Health Action Plan, and we've got something there that helps to walk you through all of those, right? So remember, when you come, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You just come and you can plug in. So let's go ahead and let's watch that MOVE campaign right now. Welcome to MOVE, Metabolic Optimization via Exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is MOVE. Let's get started. So we are in our 56-hour fasting window, and using fasting as one of those amazing tools that helps us to right the metabolism. And if I had to name our discussion, our talk, it is the fasting adaptation zone. But I would actually add another component to that. I would say fasting, the adaptation zone, powered by balance, right? Because balance is what we're talking about. And this week's Blueprint series has been about balance, the balance equation. Because the adaptation zone, this is the point where we've moved from motivation, which started us in this process. We've transitioned, right? So motivation handed it over to our metabolism. That's the transition zone. We talk about that at the 33-hour check-in. And then now we are at the place where our bodies have done the work of setting the metabolism right, and we are experiencing the benefits. This is where overwhelm decreases, stability increases, hunger shifts, energy levels smooth out, and your metabolism says, I understand the incitement. So in this episode, we're talking about balance. We're talking about where balance is and how the body goes about doing that, right? So during this discussion, we are just looking to see what are the things that are happening in our body, and how do we use that understanding to move forward into success, right? So we're stepping into the heart of the fasting journey. This is the zone. This is the point where your body moves from effort into efficiency, where it moves from strain into stability. It moves from fighting the process into participating and partnering with the process. But if we aren't careful, then we can miss some of those cues and we can get off track because we think something is happening. So we're talking about adaptation powered by balance, because your metabolism doesn't heal through intensity, it heals through stability. And we're going to walk through that, exactly what your body is doing in this zone, how the balance drives the process, and how you can support it with clarity, with confidence, and with calmness. Okay? So what is the adaptation zone? So then that's what we're talking about, the adaptation zone. What is the adaptation zone? Right? So when stress becomes a strategy. At 24 to 56 hours of fasting, something remarkable begins happening inside the human body. Your metabolism transitions from short-term fuel, managing that, into long-term stability. This is the physiological definition of balance. Your energy systems are recalibrating. The adaptation zone is not the hardest part of fasting. It's actually where fasting becomes simpler. It actually gets easier. Why? Because your body is no longer relying on motivation or willpower. It is relying on design. This zone signals three things happening in the body simultaneously. Number one, our fuel is shifting, and we're going from sugar, glucose, to fat metabolism. And we're mobilizing that energy source for our power. Number two, there is hormonal harmony that's happening. Cortisol begins to settle, growth hormone rises to help protect our muscles, and then we have cognitive clarity, and that's increasing because ketones support focus, and that focus stabilizes our thoughts, and we begin seeing and making connections that we would not normally have done, right? So the body is saying, you've given me a stable rhythm. I can balance now. I can heal. And that's what the adaptation zone says. And then balance is something that we are doing. Balance is not symmetry. Balance is dynamic. It's stable. It's not evenness. It's not perfection. It is the structure that we're using to build the system. So this is where strategy becomes, or stress becomes strategy. Balance in health is one of the most misunderstood concepts. Most people imagine balance as everything being equal. Equal time, equal energy, equal attention. And this really isn't balance. Balance is a dynamic thing that's happening in the body. Your body is so good at maintaining balance that for a long time, when there's something that's going on, the body maintains its homeostasis. Homeostasis is that word that means sameness in the body. This is why when people develop high blood pressure, that blood pressure didn't happen overnight. It has been going on, and the body has been constantly fixing it until the body can't do it anymore, and then the blood pressure shows up as high. When someone develops high blood sugars, it didn't happen overnight. The body has been in the process of fixing for a long time, and then when it can't do it anymore, then it shows up. So balance is actually a dynamic thing. So the body is doing an amazing job of working and pulling and pushing and compensating until it can't do anything anymore, and then that problem shows up. It is the ability to stay centered while life is shifting around us. Your metabolism is not any different from that. So during fasting, balance shows up in three different ways. Number one, it shows up as predictable glucose patterns. And this is replacing the spikes that we see. This is why it's so important. I tell people you should monitor. If you are interested in your metabolism at all, then you should be monitoring your blood sugars. You don't have to be diabetic. One of the most fascinating things to see is how your body is responding to different foods. Because we think, oh, just because it's a healthy food, then our body is fine with it. And when you begin monitoring, you begin seeing, okay, there's some fluctuations in that blood sugar based on that food. Oh man, I thought that food wouldn't do anything, but now look at what's happening. One of the questions people ask me all the time is, if I'm eating healthy foods, why am I putting on weight? Or why did I become pre-diabetic? Or why do I have metabolic syndrome? Why did I become diabetic? And that's because your body responds to food differently. So number one, blood sugars become predictable. Number two, we get stable ketone productions. And that's why I get excited when I see those ketones come up. And I am not looking for ketones to be 3, 4, 5. I just want ketones. And that is replacing the chaotic waves that I see with blood sugars. Remember, blood sugars are fluctuating. When our body is using sugar as the source of energy, that's very volatile. But when it starts to burn ketones, then those ketones are a cleaner source of energy. And so whether you are fasting because you're trying to improve your blood sugars, you're fasting because you're trying to lose weight, you're fasting because you're trying to improve your fatty liver, you're fasting because you're interested in getting your cholesterol, your blood sugar or blood pressure down, all of those happen during the fast as the body gets transitioned from burning sugar to burning ketones. Because remember, if we're burning sugar, then insulin has to be there. And as we know, hyperinsulinemia is the culprit in metabolic disease. And then 3, we get stable cognitive processing. That's the one right there, y'all. When those ketones come out, beta hydroxybutyrate, for example, when it comes out, it is in the process. Well, let me say it a little different. Your brain likes this particular ketone. And then we get brain-derived natriuretic factor. So the brain, this is like miracle grow for the brain. And so we begin to have calm because cortisol levels are going down. We have these ketones that are coming out. We have more stable blood sugars. We have more stable energy source. And our cravings are settling. All of that's happening during the fast. So balance isn't the absence of change, it's the ability to stay stable inside of change. This is why fasting works so well for metabolic disease. It restores stability to systems that have become reactive, become stressed, become overwhelmed. And when we understand the changes that are happening and understand how to support it, then we give the body a chance. We give the body a space so that it can do what it needs to do. Because once again, remember, your body is designed to heal. We often fight the body and we think the body is fighting us, but it is not fighting us. It is actually primed to do for us what we need it to do. So what's happening in your body right now? What do you think is happening in your body right now? So what's going on is, as we talked about during that 33 to 56 hour, your body is experiencing, or you're experiencing, a coordination and a physiologic recalibration. So let's kind of walk through that a little bit together. We've been talking about this adaptation, right? So insulin is dropping. Our insulin levels have gone down. And that insulin is not just a weight loss mechanism, or lower insulin is not just a weight loss mechanism. Now, it's good for that. It also signals your body to shift away from storage into internal repair. So when insulin goes down, it begins to create a pro healing system. So we have less inflammation, lower fat or more fat mobilization, increased calm in your hunger pathways, because we're dropping that insulin. Because remember, insulin is a appetite stimulant. Insulin is a storage hormone. But when insulin goes down, when we're not using that glucose, then we also get these other things. So fat mobilization and less inflammation. Number 2, glucagon is going up. Glucagon is rising. And glucagon rising is an amazing thing. This hormone is released because the insulin goes down, and it goes out and it tries to mobilize or release stored energy. This prevents the dramatic energy crashes that we sometimes will hear people talk about. Because glucagon is out there and it is saying, okay, I know that my sugar is going down, so I need to go find energy somewhere else. And fasting replaces instability with regulated, predictable delivery of fuel. Because after all, we've got the stores. The third thing that's going on is our growth hormone is protecting our muscle. One of the things that people talk about and a fear, which I'm not sure where that comes from, is this myth that fasting destroys muscles. In reality, at this stage, growth hormone is elevated and it sometimes 5 to 10 times higher than baseline. And its job is to protect lean muscle mass. It enhances fat mobilization. It supports structured repair. All of that's happening during the process. And then number 4, cortisol levels are normalizing. When we start fasting, can be seen as a stress to the body. But as we get into the fast and as you do fasting more, then the body begins to realize, hey, I am not in danger. And remember, one of the most important things that signals you can send to the body is the signal that it's not in danger. So early fasting will trigger cortisol, especially for new people who are have not fasted before, or if they're just newer to fasting. But around this zone, cortisol begins to settle. And once you do it, your body becomes metabolically flexible. That's the phrase that we're using, metabolic flexibility, so that it moves into the healing process much quicker. This is why mood stabilizes, emotional reactivity decreases, focus sharpens. Your hormones are not fighting you, they're actually organizing themselves around balance. So what are some balance markers? Balance markers shows up quietly, right? There are 3 particular things that we want to talk about, and I've mentioned them before, but here we are. So number 1, consistent glucose curves, right? In order to see those curves, you've got to be monitoring. You'll notice that your monitors tend to smooth. The trends are smoothing out. Your peaks are flattening. The valleys are rising. So instead of having this, right? So we've got more level sugars. This is not coincidence. This is metabolic balance restoring itself. Number 2, predictable hunger waves. Hunger becomes less urgent and it becomes more rhythmic. Remember, those hunger waves, they come every 20 to 30 minutes in that first part of the fasting, but they kind of normalize. Instead of panic hunger, you feel light reminders, gentle cues manageable sensations. Otherwise, we think that hunger is an emergency. I've got to deal with it right now. So hunger stops being a threat and it becomes information. That tells me, hey, there's something going on in my body. My body is changing, which is a good thing, right? Because we've gone from transition zone to the adaptation zone, and so the body now is doing all the things that it needs to do to begin healing. And then cognitive calm. So decision distortion fades. You think more clearly. You're making connections that you didn't see before. This clarity is ketone powered and balance supported. Balanced metabolisms lead to balanced brains. So why do some people struggle in this space? Right? Why do some people struggle when it comes to fasting here? Well, not everyone experiences smooth balances. Let's just be honest, right? And it's rare because it happens because there may be something in their structure that needs to be adjusted. When we talk about our preparing for the fast, getting through the fast, and breaking the fast, this is some of the things we talk about. But people struggle here because of imbalances in one of a few areas. Number one, over-functioning. Doing too much in one area. They become exhausted. Once again, balance. Interesting story that you'll hear me tell more and more. I was talking to someone recently, and classified himself as a turnaround agent. Right, comes into companies that are not having success and helps to turn them around. And I asked, hey, what do you do when you first show up? Like, what do you do? And so he gave me a list of things. We'll talk more about that. But one of the things that he said is we go to see, well, what were they doing the last time they were successful? And it's usually that they become imbalanced. They get out of balance in a particular area. And so the first thing is to chop that area off and say, okay, let's get back to basics. So overfunctioning, so doing too much in a particular area. Number two, underfeeding recovery. In order for you to have capacity to deal with all the things that are going on in your life, you have to feed your recovery. And that means that you can't continually just be pouring out without doing something to keep yourself powered. So not enough sleep, not enough hydration, not enough mental quiet, not enough structure, not enough meditation, not enough movement. You're not feeding yourself. And when you don't feed yourself, then your capacity to do other things decreases. And even in this space where fasting is an amazing tool to be able to help you to right your metabolism, because you don't have the capacity, then that feels like it's an arduous task. So overfunctioning, underfeeding, and then ignoring early imbalance signals. When you're fasting, when you are working on your metabolism, your body will talk to you. Irritability, cravings that don't seem to subside, increased anxiety and stress, feeling lightheaded, dizzy, sweaty. Your body is saying, hey, wait. Let's take a look and see what's going on here. Your metabolism responds to structure. When your structure honors your body, the adaptation zone becomes stabilizing. When your structure is chaotic, the adaptation zone becomes noisy. So think about that. So the body's already primed. It's already ready. It's already designed to do the things we want. But if we're not giving it the space to do that, then every signal that comes is misinterpreted, or we may have more pronounced signals when we're out of balance. Yep. So what are some micro adjustments that we can do? And notice I'm saying micro adjustments, so small changes. Balance is not built through intensity. Balance is built through micro adjustments, so small changes that we do. Here's an example. Shortening a task that drains you. So less cognitive load equals better hormonal regulation. So if you are in the process and you're stressed because this thing is draining you, is pulling out of you, and once again, we're not usually recovering, right? We're not pouring into ourselves. What happens is that we find that that we are out of balance, and so that stress goes up. And when stress goes up, guess what goes up? Hormones go up. But when we shorten that task, when we deal with that task, when we break it up, when we chunk it, right? That's the phrase, right? Taking that task and breaking it up into small components so that they're more manageable, then we get better hormonal regulation, and we think, oh, this is magic. It's not magic. Your brain sees that you are safe. Number 2, reinstate one boundary. Not 5, just one. A bedtime, a food window, a screen time limit. Something that begins protecting the mind, protecting your recovery, protecting your sanity. Choose the simplest version of one of your routines. What's your minimal walk? What's your minimum hydration? What's your minimum structure? What's the minimum you can do that still keeps you in the path and keeps you going so that it is a recurrent process? Often we get off track because we think we've got to do everything at the same time. Then reduce friction in one underfed domain. If rest is starving, go to bed earlier. If movement is starving, walk for 5 minutes. If calm is starving, take 2 minutes to do some breath work. Box breathing. Breathe out, breathe in for 4, hold it for 4, breathe out for 4, hold it for 4. Do that 2 to 3 times. Balance is maintaining early, gentle consistency. Notice early, gentle consistency is what we want. We don't want to have to make big, giant changes because we've gone so far down the road that we are now having to make big, big corrections, because that causes its own issues. Okay, causes its own issues. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to do our inner design loop. Let's talk about that for a minute. So remember, the inner design loop is designed to help us to iteratively regulate ourselves. So it's designed to allow us to look at the areas, just like we talk about when we do our check-in. It's another mechanism of looking at the whole overall system. Number 1, what matters right now? Why am I fasting? What is the purpose behind this? What am I shooting for? This anchors you and prevents you from drifting. There are times that you will find you're like, man, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't feel like doing this anymore. That motivation is starting to go. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm doing this because, hey, we're getting ready to go on a trip. And the last time we went on a trip, I wasn't able to keep up with everybody. I had one person tell me that they actually almost dropped out of a trip that they were on because of the walking that was going on. We don't want that. Right? We want you to have success in your health just like you're having success in all the other areas. And you hear me say that because I want you to show up for the important events in your life, for your family, for your friends, and for those dreams that you've been pouring into. Now that you've put all those years into the dream, all those years into building, all those years into saving, all those years, and now we want you to enjoy that. And if you are not healthy, guess what? Though you've put the time in, but now you can't go and enjoy. You can't travel like you want to. You can't see the sights like you want to. So what matters? What's your anchor? Why are you doing this? And then align. Do my behaviors match my anchor? Are my routines supporting where I'm going? Have I put things in place? Am I making choices that support the fasting, and now the fasting is supporting where I'm heading? Is my environment designed for success? That's a good one for a lot of us. People say, okay, so of course we're talking about food, right? So I'm going to bring the food in and I'm not going to eat it. Yes, you are. I'm sorry, you are. If you get stressed enough, bored enough, frustrated enough, angry enough, whatever it is, if it's right there, you're going to eat it. If it wasn't there, then you may get up and go buy it and find it. But if it's right there, easy access, oh yeah. So I want you to predetermine, right? This is pre-thinking. Are my behaviors consistent with what I say I want? So we anchor, we align, and then we adapt. This is where that micro adjustment comes in. So it restores stability. This is a dynamic process. The ability to remain centered while life is shifting around us. Adaptation without balance is strain. Adaptation with balance is healing. And so what we're doing is we're evaluating, what's working, for example, what's working, and how do I maintain that? And not just that, how do I take that same idea and transfer it into other areas? Yeah. So 33 to 56 hour balanced practices are helping us to move through that space successfully. So as you're going through your day, your week, let's walk through a couple of things that I want you to begin thinking about. Right? 3 wins, 1 need, 1 micro adjustment. 3 wins, 1 need, 1 micro adjustment. So here's your balanced practice for the adaptation zone. In the morning, what are 3 areas that are working? Not perfect, just functioning. And so I'm evaluating. One of the things I do when we have our coaching and we have our community meetups is I ask, give me a win. Tell me something that's working. Tell me something that is the way it's supposed to be. It may not be completely perfect, but what's working? Often when we get into thinking about our lives, thinking about our health, we start with the negative. But here we're saying, what are some areas that are working? Where are you having success? Number 1, because that starts the process. That gets you in the positive light of the day. What are some areas that are working? We're going to do 3. Then what is one area that needs attention? Let's pause. We're not looking for 5. We're not looking for 10. We're not looking to list everything. We just want one area that needs attention. And we're looking at this area without judgment. It's like, oh my God, I'm so bad in that area. Or, oh, I'm such a terrible person. No judgment. We're just observing what is an area that needs me to put some attention there. Just one. And then, what is one micro adjustment, one small shift that you can make today Small enough to do, but meaningful enough to shift. Something small that you can do. Lay out your clothes. Prep for this week. Prep for this morning. Get up early so you can do your devotion, so you can do your stretching, so you can do your mental work. I'm going to work on my breathing. Micro adjustments. And then, y'all, you want to make sure that's the beginning of the day. You want to make sure that you also are evaluating your day at the end. It is great to get up every day and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. But the adaptation or the IDL, inner design loop, says that if I'm going to be successful, I've got to be able to evaluate and see how things went, so that I can know what worked, what I need to pay attention to, and I can begin taking the things that are working and begin building on them. So my message to you right now is simple. It is that balance is not something you wait for. It's something you practice. It is not a destination. It is a tool. And when balance is working, when balance powers adaptation, cravings decrease, stability increases, decisions improve, fasting becomes easier, healing becomes more natural, because once again, our bodies are already set up to do that. This is the adaptation zone, powered by balance. This is where we want to be. This is where we need to be. And this is where we want you to be, because this gives you the best possibility of success. 56 hours, we're here. Motivation has waned. The transition has happened. And our body is now in the process of doing for you what you needed to do. And when you give it space, the body is amazing in its ability to heal. So we continue here, not because we simply want to fast. We're here because we're using fasting as a tool to correct our metabolism and to help us to live a long, healthy life. And after all, that is what we want. So we design the life, we build the health, and we live limitless. Come on back, join us as we continue this process. We'll see you in our next episode. So what an amazing process, y'all. Yeah. This process here that we're in of writing our metabolism, of being intentional. We're not allowing things to just happen to us anymore, but we are making the choice. And that's the power of designing a life. That's the power of designing the process. When you can do that, when you understand that it is in your hands, which is one of the concepts I try to get my patients and my clients to understand, that I'm excited that I get to walk this journey with you. But ultimately, the power to do this is right there. It's in you. And we have been taught, we've been culturized, we've been beaten down sometimes, and we think that the power to right our metabolism is somewhere else. It's in the doctor's hand. It's in somebody other than us. It's not. So when you are understanding what's going on, when you understand how your body works, then you can make the choices that are consistent with where you want to be. And that's why I get so excited when I'm in this space and I'm seeing the successes that people are having in their lives. So let's go ahead and let's say hello to some of our community members. And once again, wherever you're joining us from, thank you for coming through. Thank you for hanging out. I see Gian out there. Gian says, hi, doctor. Hi, LLG. Thank you for being here, Gian. She says, I'm at my 48-hour fast yesterday and started one meal a day today. Congratulations. So Gian broke our fast. And Gian, is this your 15th week? I believe that's what it was. And so Gian was guessing 0.7 was my ketones, and it actually turned out to be 0.8. And she says, so there's a question there. We'll come back to that in just a minute. Steve is saying, great job, Gian. Yes, very good. And Gian says hi to Steve. And thank you, Steve, for that. So let's see what Gian was saying. And I'm going back up and I'm reading. So she said, I feel more good when I eat. When I fast, I feel sad. Is there any problem to me for fasting states not good? So Gian, drop that in the comments again. So I'm reading through. I think I understand what you're saying. But if you can drop that a little bit more streamlined in that question. I think I see what you're asking, but I just want to make sure I'm answering the right question. Okay? So go ahead and drop that in there again for us. So I'm so excited, y'all, because this the series that we've been doing, the Blueprint series, of course, the fasting that we're on, this is a process that I want you to become so intimately familiar with that is just as simple to you as brushing your teeth. You get up in the morning and you grab the toothbrush and you go. So that fasting is incorporated into what you do. Now, how the fast happens and what type of fast you do, how long you do the fast, that may be different from many different people. If you watched our pop-up that we did today, that was one of the points that I was making. So if you've not done that, go ahead and watch that from today. Because it is a different process, but we're all fasting. We're all using fasting as a tool. You may be right now doing a 16-8. You may be doing a 24-hour. You may be doing a 48-hour. You may be with us right now doing a 72-hour. But the process is the same. The mechanism that you're using or the type of fasting you're using may be different. You're not on the journey by yourself. Wherever you are in your journey, you belong right here. 23 hours, 18 hours, 42 hours, OMAD, one meal a day. Wherever you are, right here is where you belong. This community is built for every stage of fasting. It's built for you to be here and to us to walk along with you. So as you move into the next part of your fast, whether you're finishing at 24 hours, you're going to 48 hours, you're continuing 72 hours, whatever it is, make sure that you are doing some of those things we've been talking about. Make sure you're hydrating gently. Not forced, not rushed. Don't guzzle. You want to sip throughout the day. Make sure you are moving lightly. 5 to 10 minutes. Walk. Move a muscle. Change a thought. Reduce friction. Right? Pick one thing that is making tomorrow easier. One small micro adjustment that supports your balance. Your body responds to structure. Your health responds to rhythm. Your access or your success responds to stability. And when you do that, you will find that you have great success. And y'all, as I always say, everything we do is based on our Triple E formula for success. We educate, we empower, we encourage. We educate with the shows, the blogs, with the podcast. We empower with the tools that we're learning, and fasting is an amazing one. And we encourage with the community that you are a part of. This community that's built on us rallying around each other and supporting each other, pulling each other, pushing each other, allowing each other to lean when sometimes we may not have the strength. But the community is important. One of the things I always want you to understand is that you have the power to change lives around you. There are so many people that are in your circle that have thrown their hands up and given up because they think it can't be done. They think that they can't get better health. They think, okay, I've tried this and it didn't work, and I've tried that and it didn't work, and so I'm just going whatever it is. No. You can say to them, hey, there's a different way. We can do this. Let's go. Let's bring them to the channel. Walk through the Start Here playlist. Walk through pick one of the series. Our Health Action Plan series. Our Balance Bites, our Blueprint series, which we're in right now. Play your own game. Any of those series, walk through the process with them, and you will find the connection. Right. So all those series are designed to have you jump in to the pathway at wherever you find yourself. So don't think that you are behind, that we are so far ahead of you, or this other person is ahead. No, we're all walking the path together. You may jump on that path at different places, but we're all heading in the same direction. But you get a chance to be a voice for change in your family, in your community, your doctor's office, your church, wherever you find yourself. There are people around you that need your help. As we go through the rest of the week, we continue with our fast. We'll do our complete review of fasting tomorrow. We'll talk about how to prepare for the fast. We'll talk about how to get through the fast successfully. We'll talk about how to break the fast. We will be doing that a little early tomorrow, so we'll probably end up doing 71 and a half hours or something like that. Because tomorrow I've got some things going on in the afternoon. So keep an eye out for that. It will be just a little earlier than we normally do, okay? We'll be back on Saturday at 9 p.m. Central for Video from the Vault, and then on Sunday morning, we'll have This Week in Review, 6 a.m. Central, right here on the channel. And then next week, on Monday, we will have Dwain Woode MD live again as we continue walking through the Blueprint series. For the rest of this season, remember our last live show will be on the 22nd of December, and our first live show for the new year will be on the 5th. I think that's I should say I think. Okay, so that's the plan. So during that time, though, during those 2 dates, there will be something here on the show. Come on and encourage each other. If you're in our community, if you're in our accelerator group, of course, we will continue to meet. For our accelerator group, our meetup will be the week prior to or the 4th, right? It'll be the third Wednesday or third Thursday, because the 4th is Christmas. So we'll be doing the week before that. If you've not joined our accelerator group yet, make sure you get in there so we can begin supporting each other. I am always so excited when I get to hang out with you and get to see the successes that you're having in your life and successes that you're having in your health. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. Let's go ahead. We're going to change over to this one. This is Dr. Dwain Woode. That's Wood with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health and your life. Avoid complications. Go to the next level. We're creating the life we've always wanted, and we are living limitless lives. You don't need superhuman strength. What you need is a strategy you can trust. You need a plan you can follow. And you need the determination and the support to continue showing up every single time. Let's go ahead and we're going to listen to our Move campaign, and then we'll be out of here. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you in the community. Welcome to Move, metabolic optimization via exercise. This isn't just about workouts. It's about moving your body, moving your habits, and moving your life forward. Each episode builds consistency, strength, and resilience step by step. I'm Dr. Dwain Woode, and together we're writing the story of health, transformation, and limitless living. This is Move. Let's get started.